What's up, everybody? This is Steve Schillaci, and today we are looking at the famous Firefly Les Paul. The one that I have today is a Smoky Burst, and this is from the classic line. As you can see, it's a nice little flame top. You can get these from Amazon. You can get these from guitarsgarden.com. That's where I get mine from. And this is now my fourth Firefly guitar. I have one 338, and this is my third LPS. I've had some mixed experiences with these, being that one of my LPs was really bad, one was okay, my 338 was phenomenal, and this LPS Classic is gonna be up in the probably number 2 on the ones that I've had so far of the 4. I'm really enjoying this guitar in particular. I think it sounds the best plugged in, and it's a pretty sweet guitar. So let's talk about some of the specs on it. I mean, if you look at the Guitars Garden website, you're not going to find much information because I don't know. There's not much. These guitars are so shrouded in mystery that there's not a ton of details about them out there. But you could see that this is a rosewood type fretboard. I'm pretty sure it's actually rosewood. And according to the people at Firefly or at Guitars Garden, whoever it is that I was speaking to, according to them, it's rosewood. You get a real bone nut. That's like the one spec that you see on the website that it says it's got a bone nut, and it's got a flame maple veneer. This is not a flame maple top. This is absolutely a veneer, so it's a pretty thin one. If you take off the pickup covers, you'll see that it's a very thin. Some people have accused it of being a photo, but it's definitely not a photo. It is definitely a veneered top, and you can see this is a beautiful flame. I mean, I love flame tops. I am a sucker for a flame top Les Paul if there ever was one. As far as the guitar goes, the pots are actually really nice. They have a nice stiffness to them. They're not super light and super fast. I prefer them to be this type of, I don't know what the word is I want to use. They're smooth and they are easy to dial in. So if you're looking for a specific dial, you can get to it without having to like fly by it, if you know what I mean, when you get a really slick pot. It's got a regular Nashville Tune-O-Matic bridge. These are really cool because they don't have the retaining wire. Typically, imported guitars in this price range are going to have a retaining wire of some sort or some weird thing happening in the Tune-O-Matic bridge. This has been rock solid on all of the guitars. The hardware has always been really, really good. The tailpiece is nice and light. The one thing about this Tune-O-Matic in particular on this guitar, in this particular example, wasn't the case on any of the other ones. The low E string rattled a little bit, so when I would hit an open E, it would have a little bit of a buzz to it, and all I did to remedy that was I took a little bit of a clear nail polish I stole from my wife, and I put it on the sides of the saddle once I got it intonated, so it kind of locks it in place. It's like a Loctite type of thing. It's a little trick that you could use if you ever get a buzzy saddle. Just drip a little bit in there and it'll solidify it, and if you ever need, all it takes is a little screwdriver. Once you start fiddling with the intonation screw, it'll break it and be able to move freely again. You have the standard Les Paul 3-way switch up top. This one is a little bit looser than other ones I've had, but it's nice. It's a good switch. Feels good. As far as playability goes, the neck shape is a perfect medium. Really, really a perfect medium. It's not thin and it's not thick. It literally feels like it was made to be played, which is really, really nice. And the tuners are something that's really a really noteworthy point of these guitars. On all of the ones that I've had, of all the Firefly guitars, all of the tuners work really, really well. And I've been told in forums and in comments that these are Jinho, which is a Korean brand of tuners, I believe, and they work really, really good. There's no binding. It's very consistent as you spin them. And there's really no complaints at all when it comes to these tuners. They actually hold. Like, I've gigged these guitars now, and they hold tune, like, really, really well. The pickups on this one are the best ones that I've had stock. That's been my gripe about all of my Fireflies, is that I'm not crazy about the pickups. They feel very stiff on the other ones, but this one in particular, these sound like a legitimate pair of PAFs. They sound really clean and clear, and you'll hear it later in the demo, but so far, this is my favorite set of pickups that I've ever gotten in one of my Fireflies. And looking at the back of the guitar now, you have a standard, Les Paul looking back of the guitar. It looks like a nice piece of mahogany. I believe this might also be veneer on the back of this guitar. Even the back of the neck is probably a veneer also, and has a scarf joint at least. I mean, the other ones that I've had all have a scarf joint showing, but this one seems to have Either it's a real piece of mahogany back here or it's just veneered over. Nice touch that they put on these two is that they have a metal jack plate here. So for your input jack, that not being plastic is pretty good. We have nice wide strap buttons too, which I like. That makes it pretty easy to get the strap on and harder to get the strap off when you're playing a gig. It's not gonna fall off on accident. And to circle back to the nut is a bone nut. Guitar in this price range with a bone nut is a really, really fantastic feature to have stock. And all you really need to do when you get them, these nuts are always a little high, but it's like that with every guitar that you buy, whether it's a real Gibson, a real Fender. Typically, the nuts err on the high side so that you can file them down to your particular spec and where you like them. And that's the only really thing I've done. I did file these down a touch just to get to my spec. It wasn't too high. It didn't play out of tune or anything, but to get it to my spec, I just wanted to lower it a little bit. If you want to see another Firefly that I did straight stock, a couple of them I did literally with the stock strings on them. So I'll link my other Firefly demos up here if you want to see what these are like when they come stock from the factory. And you see we got the nice classic Les Paul cream pick guard. The amber knobs are kind of a downer for me. I'm not thrilled with how they look. I might replace these at some point with something that I think looks a little bit cooler. Other than that, I mean, the Smoky Burst, I requested this one, and this is a sponsored video by Firefly. They did send this out to me for a demo at my request. So I did ask them for this specific color because I'm really into this look. So now moving on to the frets, if we take a look at the fret ends on this guitar, this has been kind of a hit and miss thing among and across my Fireflies. This one, the frets are actually rounded pretty nice. The only problem is that some of the frets hang over the fretboard to the point where you actually feel them. And at first, when I got the guitar, I thought it was just, it was dry, lack of humidity, and it was just a little fret end issue. But they're actually just cut to the wrong size. And you could see some of them have some room before they get to the edge of the fretboard, and some of them actually go off the edge of the fretboard. So that's something that can be remedied very quickly with a file, and by no means a deal breaker for a guitar in the price range that this is in. And the only other complaint I have about the frets is that there's one high fret, and I think it's up here in the 15-17 range, where when I bend a full step, I'll get a little fretting out, but there it goes away. And again, that's quite a nitpick for a guitar in this price range. But yeah, that's enough talking. Let's plug it in and let's see what it sounds like. So here's a clean tone. We're going to start off with both pickups in the center position. That's got to be one of my favorite sounds with this. That middle position clean is just so nice. You could do so many things. You could do some funk stuff. You could do any type of clean stuff you want with that. Let's go to the bridge pickup with the clean sound. Clean sound. That was sound and tone at the same time, for those of you wondering. Switch to the neck pickup, both volumes and tone are up. Let's kick in a little bit of an overdrive. Pretty mean with a little bit of overdrive on it. Now we'll go to the neck pickup. That was both pickups together. All right, so I'm gonna throw on a couple more pedals, get a nice real like saturated lead sound with some nice effects on it, and see what this thing could do in a lead situation. Get some pretty hefty sustain with this thing. That's nice. All right, and that is the Firefly LPS. This one is in Smoky Burst, and I hope you guys like this demo. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or other, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.